Hi, I'm Bo Howell, CEO and co-founder of Jute, and we're back with our next Fireside chat, where we talk with industry professionals on hot topics and questions that we're seeing from clients and around the industry. Today, I'm here with Attilio from Veneziano Partners to talk about Europe and some of the trends that are developing there that may be of interest to U.S. managers looking to raise capital in Europe. So, Attilio, welcome.
Hi, Bo, and thank you for having me here and also for the effort you put in pronouncing my name as it should. I had different experiences. And so at Venezian Partners, we help US fund managers with Europe in a very holistic way. We start from offering our help with the regulation, that surrounds distribution, going through domiciles to establish operation, all the way through introduction sometimes to opportunities for distribution through our partners.
That's great. So tell me a little bit about some of the topics and trends that have recently developed in Europe that are impacting US managers who are active in that space.
Yes, I think that historically US managers have seen Europe as one of the strongholds where to position themselves, and also they have been doing it in a rather, I would say, casual way until the introduction of the Alternative Investment Fund Managers Directive,
Right.
nearly 10 years ago. And so Europe is tightening a little their borders, but this is not for Americans. It's mostly for Brits as a consequence of Brexit. But Americans tend to be a sort of a collateral damage, if you like. Nevertheless, one of the most recent trends is the introduction last summer of a sort of a pre-marketing notification. And so basically, if in the past you were able to take a flight to Paris or to Frankfurt and talk about your strategies, thinking that that was possible. These days, before you do that, you might have to notify local authorities that this is your plan.
Okay, interesting. So I know there used to be called the so-called reverse solicitation rule. Is that still possible, or what's changed with that?
Well, it's still possible. Of course, the indication is that you really need to use that not as a sort of a marketing strategy. There are still instances where it's possible and it's realistic to purport that the approach is made in an unsolicited manner by the investor itself. But the pre-marketing notification is very interesting because it creates a sort of a legal fiction that you are carrying out marketing. And so that would then require that you have your fund products authorized for marketing locally, and you would not be able to claim that it's a reverse solicitation for a certain period of time.
Sounds like putting the cart before the horse, so to speak, right? Got you. So what other trends are, so in addition to pre-marketing, what other trends or issues should US managers be aware of as they continue to kind of push into the European market?
I think that one of the conversations that investors in Europe will have with a manager is about sustainability. Basically, what we have seen is that, again, last summer, the European Commission came out with an official interpretation saying that also if you are a foreign manager and you're approaching investors in Europe, you will have to take your stance on ESG through the European rules. And I think that this is challenging because before even considering to approach European investors, you have to worry about ESG, and you also have to worry about making sure that you make the appropriate notification for pre-marketing. And that has created a sort of a compound effect, if you like, for US managers, because there are many boxes to be ticked, most
Right.
of the time requiring outsourcing some work before they can approach European investors.
So I know ESG is a hot topic here in the United States, has been so for a while, but what are some of the challenges in Europe around ESG products, particularly those managed by US managers?
I think that it's very nice that you mentioned this. I think that there is a gap inevitably between the ESG approach in Europe and the one in the US. I think that the main challenge is being able, on the one hand, to create an ESG identity. Many firms, they are signatories in the US as well to this principle of responsible investing. It's part of their strategy, but they didn't think that through to the level of their products, right? And so basically, every investor will ask whether your product is an Article 6 or Article 8 or Article 9. And to be honest with you, what's not ideal is that most of the time this is overlooked as an element, and it's only outsourced to specialists or law firms, whilst I believe that firms should really work on their ESG identity.
Interesting. Well, great. Thanks, Attilio. And thanks everyone for watching today. Stay tuned for more of our fireside chats. And don't forget to check out our blog for a series of posts geared toward US managers interested in expanding to Europe. Attilio, thank you again for joining me.
Thank you. Bye.
Ciao.